So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world, and welcome to another episode of Is It That Bad? Where we take a look at an album that maybe got mixed reviews. For the second week in a row, we're talking about another Florida band, and this album just came out. For two of my guests, it came out yesterday, but for two here, it came out today. So the
Oh
band
yeah.
I'm talking about is Under Oath. And yeah, I remember Under Oath. I used to be a fan of like their old stuff, but I haven't been a fan like for the longest time. There's a few albums. So first of all, background of Under Oath. They used to be a more metalcore Christian band, but they have really changed throughout the years, and now they have cursing. So this is the album. It's called The Place after this one, right? So that's the album,
Yeah,
which is
Is
a
that
pretty
is that supposed to be a name for hell?
I think so. I like the album artwork though. It's got that. It's like the wings of fire.
It has the fire,
yeah. Well, on this term, it's the place after this one. So they're in Ocala. So maybe they're talking about Kissimmee or Orlando or Tampa, somewhere around this place. So yeah, that's the album cover, which is pretty, it looks like a pretty typical generic album cover, if you ask me. So yeah, like this band has been around since the beginning of the 2000s, and I remember they had some great albums that I really enjoyed, some classic albums. But they had a comeback record. I think it was 2017, and I remember I enjoyed some part of that, but a lot of
2018.
2018, yeah. And a lot of like the Christian community was up in arms because there was cursing, and apparently they're no longer a
Gosh
religion.
darn it! You're not allowed to swear.
Oh,
Yeah. So I'm joined on this episode. I have Shili from Live Listening Erase. How are you, my friend?
Doing well. Thank you for having me on this panel. It's so good to be here.
For doing this. I have Matthew from Diasable. Matthew, how are you?
hey, what's up? Always happy to be here, guys.
Yes. By the way, Matthew, I'm loving those videos where you're teaching English. I find
Oh yeah.
the beef one was funny as hell.
I'm just really upset that
Diapers.
they photoshopped my face on that one.
Oh,
But I'm glad you're enjoying. I'm glad everyone's learning English.
Yeah. So that was funny. And rounding up the panel, I have straight from the closet. Yes.
Yeah. This is my dad's closet. I'm sleeping over at his place.
Trappy, but that's
in the closet.
No, not in the closet.
Is
there's-
Tom Cruise there?
No, shockingly. He's probably in some other closet. I haven't checked.
Ooh.
John Travolta's closet.
Maybe.
oh yeah, it's kind of. I just noticed. I'm like, he's in a different place because usually you're like I think you're on your bed.
Yeah. I do most of them in my own apartment, but I'm sleeping over at my dad's place.
Mm.
So, and obviously, rounding out the panel, it's me. I'm not here, then it's not my channel. So yeah, so this album, it's an interesting album. And a funny story. This morning, an ex-coworker of mine was complaining about this album, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna do an Is It That Bad on this episode," and he's like, "Oh, thank God I'm not the only one." So
Yep.
yeah, so let's, people, the drill. We have the 3 rounds. The first round, we give our first impressions, what we think of this album when we heard it, like today or yesterday for some people. And then we give our second round. We can pick 3. I wrote like 5. Let me see how many I wrote.
God, how many could you write? I
I think
mean,
I wrote 5 just in case.
Oh,
Oh, I
five.
have 4
Okay.
just in case.
Yeah.
I did 3. I should have. Okay.
uh, I'll figure something out.
We can
Yeah, I'll
go
go. I'll
for
go
it.
on the fly. I can go on the fly.
4 is a
Yeah.
good number.
We can do 3 to 5, 3 to 5, depending on who
3 to
you
Yes.
are.
5. Okay, 3 to 5.
People are gonna be like, you're just picking the whole album.
We already know your thoughts.
I think it's 12 and I think it's like 39 minutes.
Yeah, like 37
Yeah.
minutes, very short album.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then our third and final round, we give our last impressions at least, and we vote thumbs up, thumbs sideways, or thumbs down. So
Oh yeah.
let's start today. Let's do Chile, then Rock of All Ages, then Matthew, then me. Yeah, I put you on the spot. You're like, why me first?
Yeah, I know. Hey, what? Come on, man. Actually, I just realized this is like one of the first panels I've been on without JC. It doesn't feel right.
Hmm.
I'm repping the beard this panel. JC, if you're watching, hey
no,
man.
I'm here.
No, I'm repping the longer beard. You know, like
Oh, that's
JC
true.
usually reps the beard that goes down to
oh.
here.
You're
Oh,
the long
no,
beard guy
settle
down.
down. Settle down, boy. You got that
You've had a couple of
16-year-old. He's got that
It's
high
2
schooler.
months. 2 months.
Months.
I'm half
This is I
Asian.
woke up this morning, man. I shaved this morning and then it just grew out. Yeah, so
Ah.
like
always
like,
got like the Homer Simpson facial hair.
yeah, just yeah. Yeah, so like Hector said, I am Australian, so that means I get access to music earlier, which is a gift or a curse depending on how you view things, I guess. So yeah, Under Oath is under scrutiny. Here we go. My first impressions, I guess. I heard of Under Oath back in the day, but I never really got into this band. This is just one of those bands that kind of seemed on the radar and out there, I suppose. They seem to be that emo music scene back in the day, at least from my perspective when I was looking over things. More like screamo, I suppose, depending on which album you're with. I'm certainly more familiar with their last album, the poorly named effort Voyeurist, a hashtag that you certainly don't want to add to your social posts or traverse too deeply into. This was a vastly different effort to what I knew from the band as well. That album, that was what, 2021 or 22? I can't remember now.
22. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it was, yeah, around there. But it wasn't, I didn't think it was entirely a bad effort. It was different, but it wasn't exactly a bad effort. With this album, however, the band proclaimed that they were on a new era in their history, a new sound, if you will. And if you have to tell your fan base that you are going for a new sound, it's usually a red flag, or at least that's how I would perceive things. My first impressions weren't exactly great from the start of the album, as the band had shifted their sound even more so from that previous effort. And, from that, especially from the emo, from that mid-noughties emo sound, which is a pretty solid sound in hindsight, going back and listening to it. And this album, I guess, is more metalcore or arena core, depending whatever you want to call it. And it's certainly got elements of electronic sections and, heavy mix between the two. But it does feel rather disjointed, which, of course, we'll talk about a bit later on, I imagine. So I'm not sure if I'm alone here, but the audio quality was horrendous. The production, it just sounds really loud. And I'm listening to it. I listen to it in my car speakers. I listen to it in my headphones, and both of them were just piss poor production quality. Like it's extensively loud. You know what I mean? And it reminded me, I guess, of the loudness war from Rick Rubin's Metallica days, like Death Magnetic. And I had to look up the producer. It was produced by this fella named Dannon Reed Rector, which is a horrible sounding name. And it's really not a strong start, to be honest. So that's my first impressions.
Yeah, good first impressions. And yeah, I also agree. It's not a good look when you have to tell your fan base it's a new era. It's like Chile. If you told your wife it's a new era, baby. It's a new.
Well, I go to my fan base and I'm like, I'm not doing heavy metal reviews anymore. I'm going to review
I'm
Madonna,
shaving the beard completely.
Throwing the hat in the bin.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, Rock of All Ages. What were your first impressions of this one?
Well, going into this, the only thing I knew about Under Oath was that they existed. I think I may have heard one or two singles from their 2018 album Erase Me. To fully prepare myself for this episode, I listened to that album and Voyeurist. I thought Erase Me was really, really good, and Voyeurist was just all right. But this new album incorporated more electronic sounds and felt at times like the band was trying to be more radio friendly, like they were taking notes from Bad Omens and Bring Me the Horizon. Um,
Mm.
I don't think the album is terrible, but I don't think they went in a direction that they could navigate successfully.
Hmm.
Nice. Good first impression. So, what about you, Matthew?
Yeah. My thoughts on this were like with Under Oath, they were similar to like Chili said, they were a band that I kind of missed throughout the years. I discovered them with the album To Find a Great Line, and I'm from Texas, and at the time, I don't know, something about Under Oath, was it They're Only Chasing Safety, and
Hmm.
those first two albums, everyone in Texas loves this band. And at that time, I'm like, oh, I've never heard of Under Oath, never literally I would get death stares like, are you even into the scene? I'm like, sorry, I'm just late on the boat. Like I didn't get to them till Define the Great Line. And so that's where my mind is with them. Like the first two albums I've listened to them. I think it's one of those you have to be there kind of moments. And in Texas, it was just everyone was into them. I just wasn't as much.
Hmm.
And continue listening to their other albums, the Define the Great Line. The last real album I listened to was the one with Zero on it. And I felt bad. Like I remember listening to Erase Me, like Rock of All Ages said. I listened to it a couple years ago. It's pretty good. I haven't listened to Voyeurist, so I feel like I have a big gap when listening to Under Oath. So when I did go into this, I was very like, whoa, this is quite abrasive and very different from what I'm expecting from Under Oath. But I, at the same time, I thought the production was pretty good. I like I'm not a big fan of EDM stuff like that, but I thought they incorporated it pretty well from my
Hmm.
listening perspective. And granted, I was in a bit of a time crunch listening to this, so I like listened to it like right before this recording. Yeah, they took a lot of liberties with their sound, and it doesn't feel like Under Oath, but at the same time, it's still somewhat enjoyable. And I guess because I was getting prepared for this, I kept thinking of A Day to Remember and how when I was listening to the A Day to Remember album, I was like, I'm not enjoying this. Doesn't feel like A Day to Remember. While I was listening to this, I was like, maybe because I'm not so connected to Under Oath, I was like, it's I'm vibing with it a little bit here and there. I do like the songs are pretty short, so the album goes by pretty quick, and so like all the abrasive sounds and the musical choices they're doing here, they don't seem as bad when a song goes by pretty fast. So initially, pretty warmed up to it.
Nice. Good first impression. So, I did Under Oath. I remember their old albums, and that one defined the great line. I remember that was like the big one. For
Mm.
I do remember I listened to Erase Me because I remember that album because that was the first week that I started my actual job. So I was in California when that came out, and I remember listening to it, and I thought, yeah, this sounds more aggressive of the other that I remember. And actually, their last album, Voyeurist, it was my second album review for the channel.
Oh,
But the channel,
Oh, okay.
I even bought the vinyl.
Oh,
That's how.
okay.
That's what happens when you have money. I don't know. I got
Better
into
ways to waste your money.
oh I got into the vinyl craze and I started like buying a lot of shit in vinyl and now I'm like why did I not have a
I
lot of
could
vinyl
have used my money.
away except the classic albums from the 90s those but like newer albums I'm like why did I buy this on vinyl I don't know
like Bruce Dickinson.
so I buy Bruce Dickinson on vinyl.
I was going to say like Melancholy or Dookie or like Verses.
I have
Mm-mm.
those albums on vinyl.
Yeah. Oh, and Nirvana, of course.
I have
Thank
all
you.
the
Who's
classic
Nirvana?
But there's some
Oh,
newer
fuck
stuff.
off.
But I think I listened to like the first, like for once, and that's it. I'm like, I don't know why I bought this. So I don't know. For this album, I know she says the production, but for me, my biggest gripe with this album is I think the singer's voice is so annoying on this. Like, so what?
I did have that thought a few times.
Yeah, that's what my friend this morning gave me the great comment. It's like it's like is it 2004? Like it's like he's trying to be like so rebellious all the time, and it's like I'm being rebellious, mom and dad. Please don't take my iPad, kind of vibe to the lyrics, and also a lot of the songs are like very short, like teeth, chain, devil, like like they have like one.
Mm.
A lot of them are like one word. So most of them. And yeah, so that the most annoying thing for me was like the actual voice. I don't know why the voice was annoying the fuck out of me when I was
I can see that, yeah.
this morning. So I changed it to Deaf Heaven.
Oh yeah, yeah. Good choice. Good choice.
Yes, but I'm like, no, I have to push through and listen to it. So the production, yeah, it does. I don't know. Chile, I think it's your car. You had that problem with Cedar. Remember, it was too. Yeah. The production, I don't know. I think it's the voice that really.
It must be Australia. We you know, it takes time for the music to get to Australian streaming devices. It has to go down under the signal.
They need to go for free Spotify to get place. Yeah. Well, but at least we've all learned something from Australia. Australia cares about Australian people not listening to shitty music. We learned this in the Steven Seagal episode.
And Vanilla Ice.
Oh, Vanilla Ice.
But you were spared. So yeah, my initial thoughts is what the voice was annoying me, and that it was like a real problem. Like it was even giving me a fucking headache. Like, and I don't know. It's like he's this band to me. I remember that I called them a Hot Topic band because that's when I first listened to them.
White, super hot topic. Yep.
Super
Oh,
hot.
yeah.
One of the top, probably the big four of Hot Topic for sure.
That could
There's
be
like Paramore, Under Oath, MCR.
My Chemical Romance.
I said MCR, yeah.
Yeah.
The big
Fallout-
four.
Maybe Fall Out Boy.
Fall Out Boy
No,
would make sense.
Maybe no. Bring Me the Horizon. Maybe.
Would Blink count?
No,
Nah,
come on now.
for free.
not
No,
at
that's
the
pop
peak
punk.
Hot Topic. No.
Devil Wears Prada. That one.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good contender. Yeah. Oh, that's a good big four of the Hot Topic.
Yeah, the big four of Hot Topic stores.
And we'll have to get Sabrosura because she actually worked at Hot Topic.
Oh,
She'll know. She's the definitive source then.
Oh, we could all pick our big four who we think are, and she can give us a good definitive answer. Like, no, these are the most like popular. Ooh,
Media. That's an interesting one. Yeah.
Yeah.
We cooking in here.
So yeah, those are our first impressions. We went a little bit sideways, but I don't care. It's my channel. I make the rules. So let's go to second round where we pick 1, 2, 3. No, we need to do it in the count, boys. We'll pick 1, 2, 3, maybe 4.
I missed my chance on that. Damn it.
Yeah. For context, Matthew was doing Bleeding Through album review, and he started counting. I'm like, dude, that could have been awesome. You were like 1, 2, and I'm like 9 albums.
Damn it. I was blanking on that intro, but damn it. Hector with the good stuff.
Oh.
Yes, I'm like, oh, that should have asked me. That would have been like the great start. So yeah, so Chile, pick as many songs as your heart.
To my heart content. Fair enough. I'll see what I can manage here. I did have 3 picked. Initially though, this is before I listened to the album another 4 times later. But anyway, yeah, worst tracks, huh? So yeah, this album certainly contains a lot of skid marks. So let's start with the obvious one, Survivor's Guilt, which ironically is how I feel after listening to the song. You know, it's why is such a horrible subject matter undermined by this upbeat poppy sounding drum beat? I just don't get my head around this. And it bothers me so much to the point that it shouldn't bother me. You know, it's yeah, whatever, depression or whatever you want to say has funny ways of showing, you know, its emotions, I guess you could say. But survivor's guilt is such a dark subject. And then it's like, this is left down. It's pretty much boiled down to a dance song. You know, something that could be on Dance Dance Remix, whatever that fucking thing is on. You know, at the arcade
Dance
studios or
Dance
something.
Revolution.
That's the one. You can tell I played those as a kid. Uh, like, yeah, let's dance to this tune. Yeah, woohoo! I survived a shooting. Yeah, not really exactly top tier stuff. And
Mm.
I mean, what would you know
it
about that? You're in Australia.
Maybe
that's true.
to foster the people's like the pump up
Oh,
kick.
pumped
Oh,
up
pump
kicks,
up
yeah.
kicks.
Oh.
That one gets a kind of pass though. You know, that the way they deliver that message in that song, it you can see how it works. This song,
Mm.
however, which is I did make a note here. I'm not sure what the message the band was trying to get across. That was before I, you know, deep delved into this one, which is apparently his drug addiction from like 8 years ago or something. So he's talking about
Mm.
survivor's guilt from how he's, you know, came out of all this and I don't know, he's a phoenix or some shit. I don't know. But you know, and I mean, survivor's guilt for not being a junkie. I think there's better things to be feeling better about than survivor's guilt over
Mm.
that type of subject. It just seems like you know when people.
Then
I'm going to I'm going to cross a line here. You know when people cry out like they have a mental issue when they probably don't.
mm.
I kind of feel like this teeters on that line to a degree. You know, it's
Kind
beyond
of
a face
stretching it a little
planted.
bit.
Yeah, yeah, it's like survivor's guilt. Oh, I'm not a junkie anymore. Cool. All right, you're not Alice in Chains either, but whatever. So yeah. Anyway, you know, at the beyond, this is just beyond a face plant at this stage. I really hated survivor's guilt. It's just ugh, yuck.
Mm.
The next track I had was Teeth, and I'm very conflicted about adding this song because the breakdown is actually really cool. It's really amazing for the briefest of 10 seconds that it plays out. But the lead up is just way too long, you know, and it's
Mm.
not worth that overall experience of waiting through the song until it gets to that section. And I also had to think to myself, like, how the hell are they going to play this song live? Because it's pretty much a backing track and a whole bunch of synth layers in the song. So how
Mm.
does that work out? The band, you know, this is still a band full of musicians that play guitars, bass, whatever. What's the bassist doing? Is he playing the synth sections? They've got six members. I guess they're doing something.
He's
But
taking
you
a
know, while the
break.
band he's off to the stage having
Midsection.
a smoke or something, you know. But yeah, like while the band just like waits around staring at their watch, you know, cool, not you know, nothing but the metronome playing in their headphones as they wait 25 minutes until one bar of guitars. Wow, cool. I love this breakdown, you know, said no one ever. You know, and then you got to reset it and do it all over again because yeah, it happens twice in the song. You know, a lot of people are always like,
Mm.
"Oh, the breakdown of this song's great, it's nasty." No one is saying that about this track right here. Get fucked. It's just a terrible track. All the Love Is Gone is the other song that I picked, and I see a lot of I see a lot of heads going for it. Yep.
The radio singing.
The radio song. Yes, this is the this is the radio. This is the sound of a band selling out. Everyone, time to do what Asking Alexandria did 10 years ago. You know, it's like, ugh, it's such a radio commercial, generic piece of crap. It's a generic Timu copied version of a style of music that's been played out and done so many times for so long, and it is so out of place for the band. It doesn't feel right in any sense of the fashion for them. And this song really makes it blatantly obvious that the band is kind of out of their comfort zone, I guess you could say. They seem to make a commercial hit out of this, I guess. Like is it doing well? I actually haven't checked the counts. Yeah,
It
it's
isn't.
doing all right. Like, well, according to the album plays on Spotify, it's up there. But
Well, I mean, on streaming, yes, but on radio play, it's like it's there,
oh,
but it's not really doing anything.
so it's standard for Under Oath then. Yeah, okay.
Mm.
So yeah, it
I mean,
was like,
I don't know. Erase Me had some like modestly big songs.
yeah, okay. I
So
mean,
even
yeah, I
by
can
those
understand
standards,
that.
it was kind of a failure.
Right, right, yeah, yeah. It's not reaching up to the standards that they had set even in the streaming era for the band, and that's been a very short one. Um, that's the three that I picked. I don't know about a fourth. I guess you could probably say Spinning in Place just didn't really do it for me.
Mm,
Like again, I don't have much to add to that song. It's very forgettable because like the whole midsection of this album is pretty forgettable and
mm.
very skippable when you're listening to it. Like first couple of tracks, not bad. Last couple of tracks, pretty solid. But then the middle section, there's probably about 6 or 7 tracks that you just want to go, ugh. Yeah. So that's my 3.5.
So what about you, Rock of Ages?
You can consider Survivor's Guilt and Teeth dishonorable mentions.
Okay.
But I have 4 songs here. Cannibal. I probably could have had, because this is like towards the end of the album. I probably could have had this thought earlier in the listen, but the term sellout came to my mind when I listened to that song.
Mm,
And then you could say the same thing about Outsider, which I believe is the closing track. This
Yeah.
is kind of on par with Cannibal, except they added a guitar riff that, this might sound crazy, sounds like Metallica's cover of Turn the Page. Do,
mm.
do, do, do.
Wow.
Um, in general, I will deduct points if a song reminds me of something better I could be listening to instead. The piano outro was quite nice though.
Mm.
I will give it that. Um, Next song is Shame. If Bad Omens made this, it would probably be amazing. As is, it's not the worst song on the album, but it's blatantly obvious what the band is trying to do. The worst song on the album, as Chili brought up, All the Love Is Gone. The low voice in the intro is ridiculous, and the song doesn't get any better from there. If the goal was to make a song for the radio, then
Mm.
technically mission accomplished because it is charting. But if they wanted to make a hit, then complete failure. So
Mm.
yeah, those are my 4 songs.
Awesome. So what about you, Matthew?
For 4, okay. I had 3, but I can smidge 4. Generation No Surrender originally was not going to be in my top 4, but I put it in there because
Hmm.
I guess it just felt so erratically different from Under Oath from what I'm expecting, and I feel like I shouldn't be coming in with expectations when listening to all new stuff, but they had like a glitchy production to it. It kind of reminded me of that album from Silent Planet. What's it called? Something Bloom, Super Bloom. I can't remember. I think it's something like that. But if it has like this futuristic feel to it, that's like at times it kind of sounds okay, but at times it kind of doesn't. So I would say on the production on that one wasn't. I wasn't really feeling that one too well. But the riffs, the vocals were all right, but the production was kind of. Next would be I'm looking here. Uh, Survivor's Guilt. Survivor's Guilt. Um,
Oh yeah.
I feel like the song has a weird emptiness to it. Like there could have been something more to it, and it just feels very hollow. And the chorus is not that strong, and it just feels very okay, and everything just feels like it's just barely being passable to where like if it comes on, I won't skip it, but I'm not seeking it out when it like for what I want to listen to, especially from Underoath. So just kind of
Hmm.
falls flat. Yeah. Um, Next, I would say Vultures. Vultures was it was just very radio rock, just bland. It just felt super, super okay. And I really couldn't tell when or well, if the features were like from vocals or because I'm not too sure which member of Mastodon is playing on this track, but I couldn't really
Troy
tell like
Sanders.
everything.
Troy
What is it?
Sanders.
Yeah, the bass player. Yeah.
The bass player. Okay, yeah. So I don't know if he was just on it for vocals or just playing, but it just all kind of mixed in together. And I couldn't really feel like
I
distinctly
couldn't
feel
hear
his.
his vocals. I thought it was just
Okay,
his bass, to be honest.
Oh, okay. So that's what maybe it was. Maybe because I saw the feature, I was like, well, I know Mastodon, they all like do
They all
vocals, they
sing,
all
yeah.
play. So I was like, I don't know what kind of feature this is. So it just kind of was like, it's kind of there. Not horrible. Like all the songs that I think were bad on here, at least they're not bad. They're just kind of very okay. Just super
Mm.
okay, like bland and all right. But I will say they had clear vocals on there. The production was good on Vultures. Just too radio friendly for me, I guess, and not in a fun way. And then lastly, I would put Outsider because
Okay.
just a little bit too soft rocky for me. And I feel like I know what they were trying to do with the ending to make it like play out a little bit, but it just, I guess I felt a little bored and like I wanted a little bit more for them. I liked the heaviness they were bringing here, and I just kind of felt like, oh, this is where we're going. Okay, not bad, but I thought it's gonna be a little bit more of a grand spectacle. But like you said earlier, the pianos they're a nice touch to the song. So those are my four.
And just to let everyone know, Adele is not playing piano on that track. When I saw Troy Sanders, I'm like, where is Troy here? I'm like, if I was Troy, I would call Underoath. I'm like, dude, take me out of that credit.
I'm not in this bitch.
Yeah. So I'm picking a song that no one has picked.
Ooh.
The song Devil.
Hmm.
You know why?
Uh,
You devil and you want it to be greedy, and then they're like singing like devil, oh devil, and you're like, I'm like, is this the devil from South Park? Like, I'm the devil.
Sometimes I think you want to use me, Saddam Hussein.
You only want me
This
for one.
party has to be the bomb.
Oh, that was a really good impersonation. Oh my
Oh,
God.
thank you.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh.
Thank you.
That feel cool.
Eh,
Yeah.
they have their moments, I guess.
Is it canceled? I don't know. Maybe
No, it's still on the air. I'm just not usually a fan of that kind of humor. Although I
They
will say,
have their moments.
I did see Book of Mormon, and that was hilarious.
Mm.
Yeah. So yeah, that's on Devil. I'm like, I'm expecting it to be hard, and he's like Devil. And I'm like, oh my god, like what the? It's like it's so weak, bland. I also pick All the Love Is Gone because that was the first track I listened. When I listened to a track, I'm like, yeah, this is going to be an Is It That Bad episode. It's just so chronic, so cheesy, and I the singing on this album is fucking atrocious.
Oh, I'm clipping that. I love that. Oh, that stress looked on your face. Oh.
Also, they used to write better lyrics. When you listen to all on their old albums, they had deep lyrics, and now they're a generic metalcore butt rock band. Like
Divorced dad metalcore band?
yeah, the what?
Divorced dad metalcore band?
Oh
Or,
God. Oh.
well, I identify with it. No.
So theoretically, you should be the target audience.
There.
But in theory,
This should be speaking to me, but it's not. And also the song titles, they're like almost all one word. Like you mentioned cannibal, shame,
Outsider.
outside.
Devil.
I'm
the
like,
attention span of the fan base.
Mm.
and I agree, Survivor's Guild, you're trying to do like something that's like a deep or like something that's important, and then you're dancing to it. I'm like, yeah, I'm a survivor. I have guilt. You're like, what the hell?
Look at all this guilt that I'm carrying. Woohoo!
Yeah, I'm like why? And I also picked almost like I have teeth and shame, and I put the same thing. The vocals and shame, I put vocals.
That's the only
Vocals.
point he wrote.
I'm like, these songs are as deep as I don't know. They're not very deep, and they're trying to be rebellious. So yeah, those are my tracks that I picked that I think are the worst from this. So Now let's go
Hmm.
to the third round where we give our final thoughts and our rating. So Chile,
Yep. Final thoughts, eh? Here we go.
This is going to be good.
Oh no. Oh no, you've built it up the hype. Oh shit. Oh no, you've done it under oath. Okay, so the band originally considered themselves a Christian rock band back in the day. Well, Christian band, I guess you should say. But they couldn't, they distanced themselves over the years, and understandably so, considering, the accusations from that scene, and it's uncool, I guess, to be of that tag mark, that trademark, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But when you name your album The Place after this one and has a bunch of burning phoenix wings or whatever the hell you want to put on the front, it's a bit hard to, hide or mask what you are truly talking about here. It's not quite the subtle metaphor anymore.
Mm.
So, it's like ordering a pizza with 6 slices instead of 8 in hopes of losing weight. It's just not fooling anyone here. And, again, maybe you guys didn't feel it, but I certainly did. The producer, Damon Reed Rector, is just very, very green. And I think it really reflects on here. This is his fifth entry into producing albums. By the way, that's
Oh.
including singles. And one of them was a single from Under Oath. That was one of them released, I think, from this album. So the guy's got like, I don't know, three technically producing things under his belt. And I just think that this album sounds like Rectum. It really does sound like arse. And it's just so loud when I was listening to it, on my really good, on my good headphones and noise canceling stuff. And, they
Mm.
should be decent quality things,
Mm.
but they're just the volume. And like you said, Hector, you wanted to unwind and I guess decompress. I was the same as you. I had to go and listen to Death Haven to decompress after listening to this album because I listened to it like 5 times in a row, and I'm just like, I need black metal to decompress what I've just heard. So yeah, it
Dang.
was,
He needs to
and
decompress with an hour-long black metal album.
exactly right. I need to hear like um that's what I needed at the end of this because that's the sheer volume that this album to me anyway was. It was just so in your mind, in there. The volume was so muddled and it just became overwhelming too much to me. It's like the audio recordings of a Bukaki event turned up to 11. That's what it sounded like. It was just terrible. The music even comes, actually, you know what? The other thing I wrote here, the music even comes across to me sounding like Falling in Reverse to a degree. You know, it was just this generic crap, I guess.
Without the rapping,
Um, without the rapping, without the controversies, without being,
Mm.
I don't know, sued
without
by the
trying to be
Australia.
so edgy,
Yeah, without the issues from the Australian government and being
without
reported to
the
the Australian
anti-cancel
police.
culture shit.
Mm.
Without the
Oh, right, I
prison
forgot
photo
about
on
the
the front.
Australian stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Without the prison photo on the front of the cover, yeah, all that stuff,
The
all that good
mugshot,
stuff
yeah.
that comes with
Uh,
falling in reverse. So look, I mean, while I'm talking so much smack about this album, I do want to say it wasn't all bad. I thought there were some decent tracks here. Decent is a stretch, though. Songs like I thought "Lost" was a decent track to me, anyway. That was a solid piece, and particularly towards the end, I know a lot of you didn't like these songs, but outside of Cannibal and Vultures, I actually enjoyed these pieces. I thought they were pretty sick. Uh, maybe decent, I should say again. No, I don't want to say amazing. But this, however, is an album that I cannot give a thumbs up to. The question now becomes, would I erase this or am I going to give it a pass? I'm not entirely sure because, it's not abhorrently bad. The thing is, the band's shift in musical style, it's just jarring. And the quality of this album is just terrible. So, I don't know. Underoath's ability to shift their sound into a metalcore sound, I think it's more adept to say that they have changed their sound to be what's the one I'm trying to go? Octane core. That's the word. It's
mm.
more octane core, which is very poser for anyone who knows that type of scene.
Oh,
And
do I know?
yep, exactly. I think that is the genre that they are hitting on this album at the end of the day. So look, I'm gonna give it a thumb sideways, but it is barely a thumb sideways.
Mm.
Good one. What about you, Rock of All Ages?
I would easily recommend Erase Me over this. And I assume the albums they had before the hiatus were better.
Oh yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I didn't think this album was completely terrible, like Chili said. It wasn't great, and I thought the second half was particularly lacking. But I could get through the album more easily than, say, A Day to Remember's latest. So, again, just barely a thumb sideways.
Okay, two
Hmm.
thumbs. What about you, Matthew?
Um, yeah, nah, I would say I was as split as I would say with the data remember last time, but it was interesting to listen to just how being so jarringly different that from what I know from Underoath. So that was at least entertaining that like, well, this is something really different and they're really sinking their teeth into it. Like, no pun intended with the song teeth, but they
Ugh.
really kind of like they went full in onto like Chili said the octane core. So I can appreciate that it wasn't too like, we'll do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I like that they like tried something really different here and it was enjoyable. Production was not that bad. It had some catchy moments here and there. Some of the choruses on songs what was it? What song was it? I thought the chorus on All the Love Is Gone was pretty good, even though it was kind
Oh,
of like radio
jeez.
friendly.
What is wrong with you?
Ah, I have a few screws loose in my head. What can I say?
Don't we all?
Me.
Yep.
And, and I like the density and the heaviness on like the song, and then there was nothing. It was a pretty heavy song,
Mhm.
pretty tight playing and everything. So I think there was more good moments on this album than bad and okay moments. But I feel like I skipped down a few albums. I may if I go back and listen to especially that last one, Voyeurist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
voyeurist.
And Voyeurist and
Voyeurist.
see like I can see where like the trajectory of this album was because it does feel like I took a bit of a leap. But
No, this is completely different from voyeurist, believe me.
Oh yeah, yeah. Even Voyeurs was different to what they did before, but yeah, this one just takes another dive.
all right, I'm gonna be all over the place when I go back and listen to some of these that album missed out on. But overall, I enjoyed it. I would listen a couple more times probably, but I would still go back to the older stuff. But overall, I'd give it a thumbs up.
Oh my.
Oh, thumbs down. So
Hey, I gotta be the outside. I gotta be the outlier here.
Yeah, lawyer.
unlike all of them, I'm not going to hold back on this shit of an album.
As you shouldn't. Let us give us all your feelings. Let it out.
The lyric,
Tell us how you really feel.
the vocals annoy the fuck out of me. The songs are generic as bland. This is serious FM. They called what's his name? What's that serious FM like DJ that's been?
Jose something?
Yeah, he's like this is Jose Mangin.
Mm.
Like they'll play this shit on Sirius XM all the time. Luckily, I don't listen to Sirius XM, so I don't have to listen to this shit all day. So this album annoyed me. It was even though the Day to Remember one is bad, at least the vocals didn't hurt my ears as this one. They're
Mm.
bad songs, but at least there were some good vocal deliveries. But on this one, every song, the vocals annoy me so much that I can't give it a pass.
Oh.
They're trying to be so, they're writing like they're, it's funny. We have 2 weeks like with like middle-aged men trying to be so tough and like something that I can just imagine this singer like, oh, I'm so tough and being in a line of a Starbucks and then please, I want latte, please, with 2 sugars
And
now
almond milk.
and almond
Namaste.
because I'm allergic to real milk and also is it gluten free?
Mm.
Some
Mm.
shit like
Upsets my tummy if I get the real stuff.
will I be under oath? Is like I did listen to the. I think Erase Me is not a bad album, and both
Yeah, that one's pretty good.
that I liked about that album. But this album, this is their worst album. of their career. The lyrics
Ooh.
are bad. The music is subpar. So this is a thumbs down. Like I said, I'm gonna quote Robert, like teeth, like nails on a chalkboard. Yeah,
I thought you were
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
say, to quote Robert, this album is not good. Explosions.
it's not good.
It would, yeah, okay.
That comment is coming, and then he'll comment about a totally random band that has nothing to do with this.
Oh yeah, he did that on one of JC's videos.
He'll be, you know that in 1984, I'm like, what does this have to do with Under Oath? But yeah, so I down, but well, there's two thumbs sideways and one thumb up, one thumbs down. Does that? It barely survived.
Yeah, two thumbs sideways, a thumbs
Barely.
up, and a thumbs down. So shockingly,
It what?
we saved it.
It's
I'm almost considering rescinding my vote because of how I've had my my script written on the episode that I was going to do because I was thinking about it. This has a contention to almost be top 10 worst albums of the year for me.
Ooh.
Almost.
You can.
Just honorable mention, maybe.
Let's do a recount.
Do a recount here, please.
Stop the count. Stop the count.
They are from
Thumbs
Florida.
down.
Oh, that's true.
So are you? So are
Thumbs down.
so? We have.
So I guess it's going in the trash now. Cool.
It's going in the present for the first time on Isn't That Bad? We have a recount thumb.
I just thought about it because I'm like, I'm never going to revisit this album. I've listened to it, like, I listened to it all yesterday, and I am never going to revisit this. None of the tracks I would add to any playlist. It is a contender for, top 10 worst albums. It's on my list. It's there if I need it.
I have to watch
So,
right now for it's a day to remember.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I've got some there, but it's like, there's probably going to be worse albums that come out this year. But at the end of the day, I ain't listening to this album again. I am.
Not even
There are
all
mu-
that remains. I like some of
No.
the all that remains one. So yeah, so right now I'm glad because I was there. There wasn't enough bad albums coming. I'm like, I need bad albums.
I'm stressing. What can I write? I need to write negative stuff, because the internet feeds off
I'm pretty sure in the
negativity.
previous episode you were like, "Oh, Rock of All Ages, you love coming on here to listen to shitty music."
Yeah.
Punish yourself.
Oh,
So coming up next for actually I have a few ideas since we have to do finally have to cover Kiss. Since
I thought we were going to take a break.
fuck the break.
Yeah.
That's fair.
No, is gonna break? So I think we gotta do an episode for Kiss. Since ready to unretire. And
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
what?
Yeah, that was a long 12 months.
it was
Oh, they
brutal.
unretired.
Yeah, and obviously we'll have to do the Randy. We can do Randy Macho Man album, and also a few weeks ago there's a new Lordy album, which I think that one could be.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, so those are like the three that we're thinking of. Yeah, I'm like decided I'm like no, there's too much stuff to talk still about.
I did have a suggestion I submitted to Hector in an email, but like that's up to him.
Which one was it? I can't remember right now.
The Pretty Reckless one.
Yeah, we can do that one. Yeah, but I think Keith.
I mean, Kiss takes higher priority, of course.
Yes,
Of course.
Yeah.
yes. So I want to thank my panel for joining me. So live listener race, thank you for joining. And so you told me you have like 6 reviews that you're gonna film.
I've got like 12 to do. I'm a bit behind.
Get on
So,
that grind,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, I got like 10 reviews to do and 2 worst to best bands I plan to cover over this weekend. Fingers crossed. If I don't get distracted listening to the shittiest Kiss albums you can think of. But yeah, look, I'll see how much I can manage. Yeah, got a bit on. But no, thank you for having me on as well for this panel.
And obviously, Rock of All Ages. Uh, what have you? Have you coming up next?
In April, I have top 10 biggest rock radio songs of 2016. That's what I have coming up immediately next, and then we'll see. We're gonna keep it a surprise.
Oh, nice. Yeah, and maybe I don't know, like top 5 songs to listen to in the closet.
Ooh, there you go.
I'm joking, man. So, what
Top
about you?
Sirius FM songs. Here I am in Australia, and I'm like, yeah, Sirius FM. I understand that reference.
There's no like rock equivalent of Triple J.
You hosted, man.
Triple M's about the closest we got, but not heavy metal or anything like that. That's a bit hard. We don't really have too many radio stations.
You know that
We've only got AM radio as well because we're Australian. I'm joking. We got FM.
you know there was a concert here that the guitar player from Puya was playing, and Jose Mangin was actually in attendance. So I saw him in real life, and yeah, he looks like he was very energized.
Who was that? Sorry, I didn't hear.
Jose Mangin, you know, the dude from the Sirius XM.
Oh, sorry, the Sirius FM. Yeah, the reference that I totally get. Yes.
Yeah.
I know that guy. I know exactly what he looks like.
Yeah. So obviously, and we have Matthew. Matthew, do you have new shirt designs coming?
Coming up soon. I'm going back to the States, going back home for a bit to take care of business and work on my brand a little bit. So I've got some designs I'm piping through. I'm doing a lot more commission work. So some bands, some people are asking for art. That's cool. I'm really happy. I'm about to hit 1,000 subscribers.
Where can they find you, Matthew?
Oh, yeah, they can hit me up on my Instagram, Diazable, everything Diazable, Instagram, YouTube, website. You find any of my art and my work out there. Totally happy to do any work for anyone out there who's watching. And I've got a lot of reviews lined up as well that I gotta go do. A lot of like Japanese punk bands are hitting me up, so gotta take care of that.
Ooh,
nice, man. You
I
have
saw
great-
your artwork on Hector's as well and I like that. I was going to hit you up and be like, "Can you redraw my chili?" I just need to come up with an idea.
Matt,
Maybe something's already in the works and you just
Matt.
don't know it.
Oh,
if you ever do it,
Ugh.
Matt, if you ever do an interview with Bandmade, that will blow up.
Bandmade.
Oh, the Japanese band?
Oh, that I have not come across them yet. Ooh, but that sounds very intriguing.
Yeah.
nice.
Hmm.
So
You're giving me ideas.
Ooh, okay.
yeah, so finally, if obviously you can subscribe to me, and if you're in a band, don't write to me to do your cover artwork because it will suck. I'll write like okay, here's a face, here's the artwork, yay!
You can reach out to me for that.
Yeah, and I'll be give me my $2 for my artwork. So yeah, don't write. But if you have a band and you want to listen to your music and maybe interview, I am down for that. So coming up next on the channel, also I have some interviews. I'm interviewing a band that I just reviewed their album called Dawn of Ouroboros. Love my album review, and they're like, yes, I'm going to interview the band. If you haven't listened to the band, it's a very kick-ass album.
Yeah, I watched one of their videos and it starts out as this like lounge jazz song and then it becomes a metal song. It was
Ooh.
pretty
What?
cool.
Yeah.
Sounds like some Mike Patton shit right there.
It's really
Like
good.
Mr. Bungle.
It's really good stuff. So yeah, and obviously, hopefully, I don't know if next weekend we'll have an Is It That Bad, but I'll gotta decide if we were gonna do Kiss or the other one. But for Kiss, I think I reached out to JC because he suggested a few albums. So obviously, JC has to be for a Kiss album.
Oh yeah.
absolutely.
Yep.
Hector, you and I may be doing something with Green Man soon.
Oh yes, yeah. there's a collaboration also with the Green Man, but has nothing to do with metal.
And we've been planning this for quite a few weeks now.
Yes, and thank you for
color me intrigued.
I totally forgot. I'm like, thank you for reminding me. So subscribe to our channels, and until next time, Couchers, we'll see you on another episode of Is It That Bad? Thank you, and oh god, this fucking phone.
It's the
Flipping it
hello.
again.
Yeah,
That's the clip to
Is it
that's the
done?
clip to end it.
it's Under Oath. Thank you
Underoath.
and goodbye.